friends, thanks for joining me today. Today I am really excited to share with you something that I made for my sister for her birthday. Some of you know that my sister Andy owns her own studio for martial arts, and I wanted to create a guest book for her. So when other masters come in or just people come in to visit, they could sign her guest book. But I wanted it to be different from what we usually think of when we think of a guest book. Usually we think of just sort of a plain book with lines on it, so lots and lots of people can sign on the same page. Well, I made this one differently. First of all, I made it a little bit of a smaller size, but not too small, but I didn't want it to take up too much room on her table area, like in her entry. So I made it somewhat small. And I don't know if you can see it from here, and I will definitely give you the close-up of it, but this is Asian inspired, of course, because she has a martial arts studio. In particular, hers is based around Taekwondo. So what I did was a little bit of research on Taekwondo and where it started and the language and all of that good stuff. And I ended up putting in Korean writing the name of her studio and her name, and I did that on the front. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this just a few minutes ago or not. I don't think I did, but I created this to look really old. I wanted it to have a very old, not quite ancient feeling, but definitely old. So I had in the past, with her in mind, when I had gone to the thrift store one time, I found some fabric with Asian writing on it. And so I thought that was pretty cool, so I used that. And then inside on this first page, this is a piece of rice paper. And my daughter Amanda actually had some rice paper. And so I ended up using that, and inside, in Korean, I wrote Global Traditional Martial Arts, GTMA, which is what they call it. And so I wrote it in Korean, in the old style Korean, and then in the new style Korean, and then I did the American translation underneath that, and I'll give you a close-up of it. And then I did the same thing underneath. It says, well, I'll tell you what it says when we get to that part, when I'm showing you the inside. I just wanted to introduce you to it and let you know what this video was going to be about. As mentioned in the beginning of this video, Andy has a martial arts studio. So I created this in an Asian theme, and as you can see on the front here, I used Korean writing, and it says On Target Martial Arts, and then it says owner Andy Johnson. So as we open it up, and this is fabric, as you can see, and I found this fabric at the thrift store, and I stitched around the cover, and I created 2 bead dangles. I just thought that was nice. One of these is a paper bead, and then we've got a wooden bead and then a black pearly bead. So when we open it up, our first page is rice paper. I made this to look old. I really wanted it to look old, and I did a little bit of research on Taekwondo so that I could add, sort of infuse that information into this guest book. So in Korean writing, we have Global Traditional Martial Arts, GTMA is what they call it for short. So I put that here with the English translation, and then here it says the art of Taekwondo began in the ancient kingdom of Goguryeo, and I probably didn't pronounce that right, and my apologies. So this is rice paper, and as we open it up, then we start with our guest sign in. And I won't take a lot of time flipping through this because most of the pages are quite similar, but every single page has this plant with 3 leaves, and under or next to the plant is this gold. It's a little bit of a wavy line, not too wavy, just slightly wavy. And that is where you might put your date if you were going to sign it. Then you can sign the book as a guest of her school, and then there's room if you want to put a little message, enjoyed my visit, or your school is beautiful, whatever you wanted to write, you could go ahead and write that. Now each page was coffee dyed, as you can see. Then it was inked around the edges, and then I went around the edges with gold, and I hope that you can see that. You see that shimmer there? That is on every edge of every page. So I think that looks nice. On a few pages, we have stamps. So we have the date, our little leaf for the date, and our gold here for the date. And then we have some stamps throughout. This is some Asian writing. I'm not sure of the language, so I can't say that that's Korean for sure. I don't know about that. And actually, the stamp set that I used for this was given to me by my friend Carol of Recrafted by Carol. Thank you, Carol. She knew that at some point I would be making an Asian-inspired journal, and this is the first one. I want to do an actual journal. This is a guest book, so I'll be using those stamps again. So any artwork or writing in this way that was added to the journal I got it from the Library of Congress, copyright free, and it is all Korean. And so this is some Korean writing on this tag. And I don't know if I have this in here upside down. I'd have to look at that for a minute. Yeah, I'm not sure. So we'll just pop that in there. And so then I'm just going to flip through because most of these are very similar. So I'll go through those real quick, but I'll show you the ones with the tags. They could slide their business card in a pocket, or they could put their note on the tag, or if they put the date and they signed it, then my sister could use the tag to write her own memory of their visit and any notes that she might feel were important to her to keep the history of her school recorded somewhere. So here is a picture of a Korean mom and her baby. This was also from the Library of Congress. Oh, I also did use some eco dye in here, and you can't see it on this side, but on this side you can see the plant, and I highlighted it with gold. So there's a few pages of that in here. You can see I put some gold here and there, well obviously up there, but I put some down here as well. So here's another pocket, some more Korean art, and this is just another card that Andy or a guest can write in. Here's a piece of my eco dye, and so I did a little bit of gold highlight in there on that. I'm running out of my eco dye, so I need to go ahead and make some more. Here's our little center spread, some Korean writing. Most of these are quite similar, like mentioned. This is a nice little pocket, nice and aged, and then a Korean painting, probably on silk, but I don't really know. Ours here is just obviously on paper. Went around it with ink and gold. Here's a little more eco dye, very simple piece. Nothing too complicated about that particular piece. Here's a gentleman, and he looks like he's holding maybe a sword. I'm not sure what he's got going on, but he's in some sort of robe. And then we have another piece of Korean art. And then we have the last page, and this is the other half of the rice paper, and it says in Korean, "Thank you for stopping by," and then I signed it. And it bleeds through a little bit, so we just leave that page plain. And then this is the back cover, nothing crazy, just some stitching around the edge. And you can see that I used black waxed thread. And that's it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed seeing this fun Asian-inspired guest book. Thanks for watching. See you soon.